Thank you, Council President Shaw. This is Mayor Shave, and it is Wednesday, July 28th, 2021 at 7:44 p.m. And I call the Aberdeen City Council meeting to order. Public comments and public hearing comments are included during the Zoom video meetings. The public was notified that if they wish to speak during the meeting, an email be sent to Patricia Soul, City Clerk, and indicate if they would like to speak or have the clerk read the comment. If they desire to comment live, they will be called on during the meeting and allowed to speak for 3 minutes. City Clerk Soul, will you take a roll call, please?
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Andrews.
Here.
Councilmember Ellis.
Here.
Councilmember Francie.
Here.
Councilmember Gordon.
Here.
Councilmember Cashman.
Here.
Councilmember Mackey.
Here.
Councilmember Meskis.
Present.
Councilmember Richrod.
Here.
Councilmember Ross.
Here.
Council President Shaw.
Here.
Councilmember Short.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor.
Here.
Mayor Shave.
Here.
All accounted for.
Thank you. Next item is approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Council President Shaw.
Mayor Shave, I would move for approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Is there any discussions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carried. Are there any additions or deletions to the meeting? Seeing none, moving on to public comments on all topics. Or if there was anybody who wanted to comment at this meeting or a public hearing, a written request must be submitted to City Clerk. City Clerk Soul, do you have any comments to read for the public records?
Yes, there are 3 comments, and one of them is from Patrick Carey from Ward 5, and he would like to read his own. So Patrick, I'm allowing you to talk. You have 3 minutes. And you will need to unmute.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. My name is Patrick Carey. I live in Ward 5 most of the time. When I say most of the time, I mean when you're homeless, you don't really live anywhere all of the time. In fact, most of the time is really about the best that you get. Anyways, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about myself. I spoke at a couple meetings ago, and I actually had a chance to have a phone conversation with Councilor Meskis, and it was fantastic. We were, just took some time and talked to me and listened to my opinions and concerns and some of my ideas, and we discussed it over. And it was really great. I got a chance to reach out and talk to somebody out in City Council, and so I figured I'd speak here again today and kind of give you a rundown about me. The thing I've noticed is that we seem to be on, I mentioned this last time, on 2 different sides of something, and really we all want the same thing. We want a better Aberdeen. And I know that happens a lot better when you know people a little bit closer, whether you are friends or if it's a complete stranger, whether we like to or not. We'd like to think that we wouldn't treat them differently, but we do. And so I thought if you guys got to know me a little bit better, that you might think a little more about the life stories of lots of homeless people. 30 months ago, I had a much different life than I had now. I was a production foreman at a company in Raymond called Evergreen Productions. I had a beautiful home that I rented, nice car for my 4 children and my wife. And but regardless, even if you're doing well and you have 4 kids and a wife at home and you're the sole provider, you're going to be poor. We were poor. And one time I didn't take a lunch to work for 6 weeks so that my kids could have after school snacks, because there just wasn't the money there. And I would pack a fake lunch so that my wife wouldn't worry, because I didn't want her to know that I wasn't taking lunch. And so now that, change of events, and I'm homeless in Aberdeen, and sometimes people say rude things or they say hurtful things, and I think it's because they're angry at their mediocre life. I had a mediocre life, and I'm not saying that it was terrible. It wasn't terrible. I mean, but I had a job I didn't really like, you know, and rent was too high, and I knew what I was going to be doing every day, and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't awesome. And so I know that I would blame things for me being upset about my life, and because it's a lot easier to do that. And so before, say, you know, next time you want to think, hey man, I wish that homeless guy would just grow up and get a job, you can go ahead and do that, but please just tell me that you will first ask yourself, did that homeless man ever pick that fake lunch before? Because I mean, a lot of us knows what it's like to sacrifice and to struggle, and we're struggling, and we're going to try and do a better job. I'm speaking collectively for the homeless as we can, and we need to do a better job. You know, I could defend our actions, but blatantly our actions are indefensible. I think we all know it. But I'm going to do what I can to try and improve things on our end, and I was hoping maybe we could see a little cooperation and work together and try and come up with some solutions. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Is there other public comments?
Yes, sir, Mayor. I'm just trying to make sure something's on. Okay. Next public comment is from Angela Dawn Montgomery. Comment below to be read by clerk at the public comment portion of the council meeting. Thank you. The unhosted, vulnerable, and poor people need a spot at the table, period. Isn't it wild that isn't just a thing already? I mean, are we really that far beneath you that we can't be heard? Aberdeen, we have a huge problem. When a city or any type of social human service entity are getting all the funding, yet our people are not being taken care of, things need to change. Not changing it, especially for this long, is pure negligence. There's money. Stop with the wait list and months of repeated false hope. Work together, figure it out. This is at its boiling point. You had one camp, I'm getting some feedback. Oh, hold
Miss
on.
Soul, Mr. Carey is still unmuted.
Okay, there we go. All right. You had one camp and you evicted it without any other option for these people. Shame on you. You all really need your parking lot back that bad? All the property Aberdeen owns that's untouched, unoccupied, there's tons, and you can't spare a chunk for the humans. This isn't weird to anyone else, ? These people are dying. Their health is dramatically declining due to living conditions, treatment, and lack of resources. Enough with the politics of it all. There are literally human lives, and I don't know how to make that any more clear to you and your friends, Pete. You guys are literally doing nothing in your position. That's an issue. You can be a regular citizen and do nothing, but you cannot be a mayor and do nothing. It doesn't work like that. Tassel was erected because Aberdeen was sued. That's the truth. You treat vulnerable and unhoused humans unlawfully and inhumane. Since this treatment has only increased, that's not okay. Solutions are needed now. Where do you want all the unhoused people to go if you've made it illegal for them to survive anywhere? I'm asking for a lot of people. Angela Montgomery. Final comment from Tamara, Smilanich. Greetings, Aberdeen City Council members. I would like to add public comment for the July 28th meeting. My comment is regarding the mask and vaccine topic as it relates to the latest labor and industries policy guidelines that have come out mid-June 2021. The city of Yelm recently passed a resolution in which city will not collect employee information on vaccine status. The city of Yelm has drawn the line and will not agree to the latest labor and industry expectations on business enforcing vaccine/mask policy. Another great example is the city of Orting, May 9th, 2021. Council meeting shows in video archives that Orting, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, is going to respect individual privacy and not ask about vaccine status. Orting's council members impressed upon me that enough is enough about masks. It was refreshing to know these elected officials are not going to fall prey to labor and industry's medical prying scheme. I encourage each of you council members to take similar action as the city of Yelm. Respect the individual's health records and health choices. The labor and industry's latest policy is intrusive, unconstitutional, followed by Aberdeen. To conclude, please note that RCW 42-56-030 is very clear in the fact that each individual is sovereign and the policy of an agency is not the final authority. You can also reference the more widely known United States Declaration of Independence, specifying the right to liberty and pursuit of happiness, unalienable, cannot be liened. I believe your business can, with legal reference to the RCW, decline to participate in the request LNI has made to inoculate status disclosed of maskless employee. I found the majority of bar members will not advocate for rights of business or individuals when in a position to challenge another government entity. It would be pleasant surprise to me if your legal counsel actually agreed with the fact that RCW 425630 exists. I believe RCW 425630 does indeed read that the agency in this situation, LNI, is advisory only. Thank you for your thoughtful consideration to my comments. Tamara, citizen. So that's it on the public comments.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is Finance Committee. Committee Chair report from Committee Chair Catchman.
Good evening. Finance met tonight at 6 p.m. via Zoom. We discussed agenda items and we reviewed the June year-to-date financials. Expenditures are coming in right on target, as we've been seeing with prior months' financials that we've reviewed. And we also received our first installment of the American Rescue Plan monies, which brings in our revenue higher than planned. And city revenue in general, if you take out the American Rescue Plan monies, is also right on target. So we're really looking in good shape coming out on the other end of COVID-19. With that, I will move into our agenda items, starting with a motion to approve the expenditures and payroll.
A second.
Motion was made and seconded to approve the expenditures and payroll. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say, oh. Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Okay. Motion to approve accounts payable in the total amount of $606,146.14 and payroll in the total amount of $99,199.50. Check numbers 25199 through 25227 and 73942 through 74088 and wires 1269 through 1273. Roll call will be conducted. Councilmember Andrews,
Yes.
Councilmember Ellis,
Yes.
Councilmember Francie,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordon,
Yes.
Councilmember Koshman,
Yes.
Councilmember Mackey,
Yes.
Councilmember Meskis,
Yes.
Councilmember Richrod,
Yes.
Councilmember Ross,
Yes.
Council President Shaw,
Yes.
Councilmember Short,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor,
Yes.
all approved.
Thank you.
And the last thing we have on the agenda today is a report from Finance and the Parks Director recommending that the City Council authorize the mayor to sign the Association of Washington Cities Service contract through the Seek Fund program for an amount not to exceed $18,000. I move we adopt this report.
A second.
Motion was made and seconded to adopt this report. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
And that is all from the Finance Committee tonight.
Yeah. Public Works Committee Chair report from Committee Chair Meskis.
Good evening. Public Works Committee met yesterday at 4 o'clock via Zoom, and we discussed our agenda items, which is we have a fairly short agenda today, so I will make this pretty quick. Among other things, we just kind of said hi, and I would just like to also say that it's really amazing to hear from Mr. Sanger about how much they saved on the screening project, because that, whenever we can save money and, be able to direct that to other projects, that is absolutely fantastic. So moving on to our reports and communications, we have a report from Public Works and the Public Works Director recommending that the mayor shall be authorized to sign contract amendment number 2 with Berglund Schmidt and Associates, Inc., thus updating the billing rates to coincide with the schedule of engineering and surveying rates dated February 1st, 2020, and attached to the amendment. I move we adopt this report.
Second. Second.
Motion was made and seconded to adopt this report. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. The report is adopted.
And next we have a report from Public Works and the Public Works Director recommending that the mayor shall be authorized to sign supplemental agreement number 3 with SCJ Alliance for an amount not to exceed $25,000. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to adopt this report. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. The report is adopted.
And next we have a report from Public Works and the Public Works Director recommending that the Public Works Director shall be authorized to execute a task order through the city's on-call agreement with Gray and Osborne for up to $111,811 for the wastewater treatment plant outfall sediment sampling and analysis phase 2 implementation project. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to adopt this report. Is there any discussion? Under discussion, Council Chair Meskis.
Thank you. Just wanted to point out that though this is not a budgeted item, it is already pretty much paid for from other funds outside the general fund. I believe it was the sewage funds that come in. So when you read the report, you're going to see that, it will create a supplemental budget item, but it's not going to come out of general funds. It's already pretty much planned for, and it's kind of required for the permit. So we have to do it no matter what.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The report is adopted.
I'm actually going to back up a minute and ask Mr. Sanger, because I noticed he's unmuted. We had one report that doesn't seem to actually be on the agenda. Do I need to add that one, or did it get pulled?
Which report is it?
That was on the changes to the roundabout on Market.
Yeah, we need that one on. I thought that was on the agenda. It was.
No. So my apologies. I would like to back up really quick. We have, let me pull this up really quick if I can. Bear with me, everybody. I apologize.
It was in the reports though, wasn't it?
I think so. It just isn't
Yeah,
on,
I read
it
about
isn't an agenda item. So I just want to pull up the text for it really quick. Just got to find it in my email.
I apologize. I normally check the agenda. I was on vacation through Monday and did not check it. So
I normally check it too, and I totally forgot to. Let's see here.
Committee Chair Meskis, should we also be adding the extension to the Shannon Slough restoration contract? That was on our Public Works.
And 1 second, I'm pulling up the agenda for the Public Works Committee meeting. So
I'm trying to find it in the agenda reports.
yeah, there was a time extension for Shannon Slough, and there was I can explain the one for the roundabout. when we went through our right-of-way phase, we ended up eliminating a parcel that we were having a hard time negotiating for. And so it made it the point where we were not going to be able to obligate on time, and it was threatening our funding. So we changed the design. We got, even though by taking a step back, we had to do some redesign, which we got authority to transfer some grant funds from TIB to cover it. So it's covered. And then but what happened is we didn't need that parcel. We changed the design, which saved us about $300,000 in right of way. So we just transferred some right of way money back to design to cover the redesign, which was $25,000. And that's the whole story there.
Isn't that report number 2?
I had them in on Wednesday last week, so maybe they weren't clear. We have a new administrative assistant, and usually our administrative assistant would help with, the person in finance putting these things together, and maybe she didn't know to make sure those things were addressed. So I would never blame this on somebody else. It was probably probably a public works issue.
So the SCJ agreement is actually the Darty. So I think that's where I might have gotten a bit mucked up on that one. But the extension to the Shannon Slow restoration contract, that one I'm not.
It's number 6.
You're right. Yeah, because we have the wastewater treatment. Yeah, that one. And so number 6 is what we're missing, the extension to the Shannon Slow restoration contract. Yeah, we got a little mucked up on our committee reports there, but growing pains as we bring as we get everything going. So the roundabout is that's the report number 2. So the one we're missing is the extension to the Shannon Slow restoration contract. I'm not sure if that actually got in here. Rick, is that something that we can put off to the next meeting, or is that something we need to bring in? Do I need to make a motion to bring that in tonight? Rick, I'm not hearing you. You're not showing muted, but I can't hear you.
Hear me now?
Yep, there we go.
Okay, so if we don't have a report, then we'll have to put it off. I'm not sure what the consequences are, but if we don't have it, we don't have it.
Okay, good stuff. All righty, thank you for indulging me. I do apologize. I usually try to double check all of that, but I kind of failed it this week. So moving on, under ordinances, we have the second reading and public hearing of Bill number 21-05, an ordinance amending Aberdeen City Code 14.100. So I will move first to open the public hearing.
Okay.
Motion was made and seconded to open the public hearing. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. The public hearing is now open. Are there any comments for this? Director Sol?
I'm looking in the attendees. I see no hands up, but I didn't receive any prior comments before the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to close the public hearing. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Public hearing's closed.
So moving on, I would actually like to move to suspend the rules and make the second reading the third reading and vote for final passage on the ordinance.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to suspend the rules, make the second reading the third, placed in final passage. Any discussion? Under discussion, Chair Meskis.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention that since there was no other public comment or discussion from council and the expedience on this item, that's why I'm making the motion to suspend the rules tonight.
Very good, thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, the motion on suspending the rules, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries.
That's for ordinance 6673.
So we need to vote for final passage on this, I believe.
And with that, I will move to accept for final passage on bill number 21-05.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to, for final passage on this ordinance. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Oh, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Councilmember Andrews,
Yes.
Councilmember Ellis,
Yes.
Councilmember Francie,
Yes.
Councilmember Gordon,
Yes.
Councilmember Cashman,
Yes.
Councilmember Mackey,
Yes.
Councilmember Meskis,
Yes.
Councilmember Richrod,
Yes.
Councilmember Ross,
Yes.
Council President Shaw,
Yes.
Councilmember Short,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor,
Yes.
unanimous. So the ordinance now is 6673.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for your indulgence. That is all from Public Works.
Thank you. Committee Chair report, Committee Chair Andrews.
All right, public safety met tonight at 6:30. And we'll just start. We don't have anything on the agenda tonight, but I'll quickly give you the fire and police chief's reports. For the fire department, the Grace Harbor EMS and Trauma Care Council funding update as of July 21st, an alternative source of funding for Grace Harbor EMS has not been identified. So they're currently reviewing options by Grace Harbor EMS and Commissioner Vicki Rains. But right now they're not seeing that, and it's kind of a little nerve wracking, but the municipal and Grace Harbor County will require to refund the remaining $80,000. So that won't be fun, but we'll have to, hopefully they'll come up with a plan. So there's a burn ban right now. The complete burn ban is still in effect for all of Aberdeen and Hoquiam. This includes recreational campfires and charcoal barbecues. DNR has raised our fire danger level to high. So no backyard campfires, no using that charcoal, use some propane. So there is a special agenda item with the RFA plan and submitting the plan to Grace Harbor County to be included in the November 2nd election, but I'll let Council President Shaw bring that up, and the personnel committee she will cover as well.
You can certainly talk to it. I'm fine. You were on the committee too.
Well, you know, we are bringing this forward to have it put on the ballot. It's important to, you know, a lot of people have talked about merging different things across the years. And this is the first time we're actually bringing it to the bud of the people to bring the two fire departments together. It'll be a great merging and sharing of resources, sharing of people. You know, both cities already do a wonderful job of it now. I mean, we've been sharing a fire chief for quite a long time now, but it's just gonna, you know, I encourage everybody to vote yes for that when that comes, but I can't say that. Oh wait, I actually did. Okay, so moving on to the police department. There's nothing on the agenda for the police this week. The APD has filled their police administrative coordinator position. Becky Ellis, who is a former Aberdeen police officer, has returned to work as their police administrative coordinator. She was a police officer from 95 to 2006. So we're excited to have her back. On Saturday is the 5th annual Emergency Preparedness Expo. The event goes from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Shops at Riverside parking lot. They'll have the police department, the fire department, the Explorers, everything. It's great. You know, pop on over there. Ton of events going on in town, but pop over onto that one. And I heard there's this really elaborate house that kids can point fire hoses out and try to put out the fire. So it's quite a big deal there. Officer Brandy Slater has been selected as the department's narcotics canine handler. Will be attending training this coming October with the hope of having her and her canine partner trained by January 2022. The selection of the canine partner will occur during training. The training and selection of the canine will be of no cost to the city. So that is, all right, that's it from public safety.
Public Safety Chair Andrews,
Mhm.
I have a question about the amendment with the TCA contract.
Oh, yes.
Were
What's
we
your
gonna add something onto the agenda, or would we pass that for next meeting?
I think we forgot to add it at the beginning.
We did.
Oh, that's where this got left in the dust. Boy, this nice weather's got us all thinking of
Screwing
other
with all
things.
of our brains. Let's see.
We're thinking of sitting by the river with the barbecue going.
So first I'd like to make a motion to make an addition to the agenda since we failed to do so at the beginning of the meeting, and that is to add the TCA contract extension. We're asking to extend that. Hold on, I had it right here. It's extending the deadline to September 30th. It's not going to cost us any more money. It's just giving them more time to plan requirements for the tsunami dangers that have come through. Yes, so that's all they need. They just need to extend that. So I move we add this to the public safety agenda.
Second,
Second.
Motion was made to add this TCA contract amendment to the agenda. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
Right now, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the report to give them the extension.
It's
Withdraw
the
second.
motion was made and seconded to approve the mayor to sign a fourth amendment to the contract with TCA. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, so apparently it wasn't Public Works that forgot something and public safety. So anyway, now public safety's done.
Thank you very much. Special agenda items, Council President Shaw.
Thank you, Mayor. We do have some special agenda items tonight. Our first item is under reports and communication, and it is a report from personnel and the fire chief recommending that the Aberdeen City Council approve the MOU related to Fit for Duty for the International IAFF Locals 2639 effective upon passage. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to adopt this report. Any discussion?
Just to thank our fire chief for being at the forefront of a really important piece of legislation for our firefighters.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of this report, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The report's adopted.
Thank you, Mayor Shave. We have a report from the Parks Director recommending that the City Council affirm the 4 fire apparatus as part of the museum collection and continue to allow the Aberdeen Fire Department staff access to the apparatus. I move we adopt the report.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to adopt this report. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Next, under special agenda items, we have a resolution of the City Council of the City of Aberdeen, providing for the submission to the qualified electors of Hoquiam and Aberdeen at the general election to be held on November 2nd, 2021, of a proposition that, pursuant to Chapter 52.26 of the Revised Code of Washington, approves a plan to form a regional fire protection service authority within the boundaries of Hoquiam and Aberdeen, effective July 1st, 2022, and providing for other matters properly related thereto. I move we adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to adopt this resolution. Is there any discussion? Under discussion, Councilmember Catchman.
I am in agreement with the model, but I have some concerns with the way it's been laid out. I was initially excited to review this proposal and approve a strategic path forward, but tonight I have a pit in my stomach that we may be going in the wrong direction for Aberdeen. My primary concern is the exclusion of facilities. As the plan is presented, Aberdeen residents will not only be bearing the full costs of our fire facility needs, but we'll also contribute to the RFA to help Hoquiam bring their wages up to a competitive level, and rightfully so. My understanding is Hoquiam personnel currently make approximately 10% less. If Aberdeen and Hoquiam both have deficiencies, those need to be packaged into the RFA and collectively resolved. Aberdeen residents shouldn't be covering the increasing personnel wages for Hoquiam and the full cost of facilities. As we adjust how our levies are distributed to the RFA, this has a direct impact on the city and could impact our ability to go out for bond in the future. We can't necessarily go out for bonds on everything, and we don't have enough cash in reserves. There hasn't been an analysis done to determine this. When push comes to shove, what projects are we going to pick and what is going to potentially be set aside when every project we're looking at is vitally necessary? I also want to talk briefly on the financial impact to Aberdeen residents. When you look at sample impacts to our residents, they amount from about a 55% overall increase to, in one case, an 83% increase in what is being paid today, depending on the size and tax assessed value of a home. For these samples, this is a $25 per month to a $60 per month increase, depending on the size and value of the home. Comparatively, the examples that were provided for Hoquiam were around a 49% to 53% increase. Overall, I believe this is too much of an increase, especially when we still need to ask our neighbors to fund new fire stations. RFAs are about collaboration and finding efficiencies. So in turn, we have best-in-class firefighters and medics to support our area. Hoquiam unanimously approved this at their council meeting, and I understand why. This is really great for them. And when Westport approved the formation of an RFA, they presented their citizens with a cost savings. I know that we need to move forward with something now, and we're in dire straits, but this plan needs to be modified so it's in the best interest of our Aberdeen citizens.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Councilmember Meskis.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Councilmember Catchman, for your words. I totally understand, wanting to make good fiscally responsible decisions for our city. I have to disagree to some extent, only because, when I first moved here, one of the first things I realized was, wow, things are cheap. We have really enjoyed underpaying for so many things for so many years that, we have to do some catch up very quickly. And unfortunately, it's going to cost. And we have to figure out how to pay for those so that we can have good services. One of the other things I remember when I first moved here was hearing that if your building or your house catches fire, kiss it goodbye, because there's no way the fire department's going to make it in time to put it out. And that's really hurtful for someone who grew up and has worked with fire departments in the past. And I know how passionate they are about their jobs and what they do. And when they can't perform their jobs to, their expectations because of funding or lack of equipment or that kind of thing, it's devastating. So yes, there's going to be a cost, and there's going to be a cost to Aberdeen citizens, to Hoquiam citizens, and it might be imbalanced for a while, but I really feel that over time we'll actually start seeing this balance out. And at the end of the day, we're going to have a fire department that is going to be able to serve our entire community and provide services without fear of being underfunded or having to cut costs in vital areas to, just try and pay for a new fire station that is desperately needed. Actually, I think we have two. So, I totally hear you, Katie, and I wish I could root for you, but I do have to disagree on that.
Councilmember Gordon.
Yeah, I agree with our last council person, and speaking not as a councilman now, but as Frank Gordon that lives in Aberdeen. I own 2 homes here. I have 2 separate businesses here. It's going to cost me, but we have a top of the line fire department. Hoquiam does also. Together working there, it's going to make it stronger because we're short personnel. I am willing to pay the difference. There's going to be a price raise no matter which. It's just really a worthwhile vote for the council. Thank you.
Councilmember Ross.
I think it's important to note also that if we don't go with the RFA, we still have to do something. We're still short-staffed. We still need fire stations. We're still going to have to pay more money. I think working together with Hoquiam, we're going to be way ahead in the long run. And I strongly, strongly support this effort.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Well, I also was on the RFA committee, and I want to be on the record as strongly supporting it. And Councilmember Meskis is correct. We have underinvested for decades in our facilities, and we know it. And whether we do this or not, we're going to have to do some investments, and it is going to be cheaper overall for our citizens to have a go together. One of the questions is, consolidation will save money, right? But not right away, because the Fire Planning Committee found that both Aberdeen and Hoquiam need to invest to maintain the quality of service we have right now for both fire and emergency medical, and that the most cost-effective approach to make these investments is to do it together.
Councilmember Andrews.
I served on that as well with council members Ross and Shaw. I will say that numerous times the consultant that we brought in reports that both Aberdeen and Hoquiam have been running, and this is his word, anemic for a lot of years. And bringing the two together will help infuse both agencies and bring them back up. So, I know it seems like a lot, but like many have said, we've undervalued them in the past, which is why we are in dire need of 2 police fire stations. And it's time we stop doing that. And this is the best way to do that.
Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor of this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
The ayes have it. The resolution is passed. Next item on the agenda is,
Excuse me, Mayor. The resolution is 2021-17 for the record.
thank you. Next item on the agenda, Councilmember Meskis, is City Council comment period. Councilmember Meskis.
You just knew I was gonna have some comments. Because I always do.
I just wanted to point out that I didn't forget it this time.
You did not, and thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you, everybody, for indulging me for just a few minutes. I do just have a couple of quick comments. I do want to just make a response to one of the public comments today about the vaccination checks for certain businesses and masking. You know, we are not out of this pandemic yet. Anybody that thinks that this is a hoax or that so is over is kidding themselves, and they need to really stop taking advice from keyboard warriors on Facebook. If you have questions, go ask your doctor, please, and ask them, you know, about the vaccine. Get educated, because the only way that we are going to get back to any kind of normalcy is, you know, to put this bug to bed. And part of that is, if you're able to get vaccinated, get vaccinated. If you're not, wear a mask. If your employer asks you to prove vaccination, it's not a slam on you. It is totally just to make sure that everybody in their company is protected. And I, for one, will do business with a company I know is ensuring their employees are vaccinated when possible or wearing masks to help protect all of us. I will continue to wear my mask when I'm out in public because I want to protect you. I would really appreciate it if you did the same for me and the rest of our community. The only other thing I would like to bring up is that our farmers are finally getting vegetables out of the ground, which means our Aberdeen Sunday market is ripe with vegetables, fresh, right here, local. So this Sunday, please be sure 10 to 3 to come out to the Aberdeen Sunday market and get your fresh veggies. Check out the other vendors. We have a lot of really cool stuff. We actually have live music and a lot of fun events. Please be safe. We have hand washing stations. Wear your mask because it is pretty close quarters. So, you know, we want to keep everybody safe. Thank you.
Councilmember Ross.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a couple of things. Tuesday night is National Night Out, and Randy and I will be again hosting a block party in our neighborhood to get our neighbors together, meet everybody, get a chance to just visit. And I think it's a great event, and it's a great opportunity to get to know your neighbors. So find out what's going on in your neighborhood for National Night Out. That's next Tuesday, August 3rd. And also Downtown Aberdeen Association is doing walking tours. I attended a couple of weeks ago. It's very fascinating, interesting, fun. So if you get an opportunity, there's one coming up on Saturday. There's another one scheduled for August 21st. And if you give the Downtown Aberdeen office a call, they'll get you set up, or let me know and I can get you set up. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Andrews.
Hello. So this weekend we have the Aberdeen Art Walk at Morrison Riverfront Park from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We've got 38 artists and vendors right now. Gonna have them all spread out in the parking lot and along the riverfront there at the park. I've got entertainment scheduled from 10:30 all the way up to 4 o'clock, from live theater to a couple of local bands to a local dance group. So, you know, you can check out our Facebook page for the full lineup. I even posted the list of the vendors up there if you want to see who's coming. We're gonna have some elephant ears and hamburgers. It's gonna be great fun. So hope to see everybody there. Oh, and then, you know, after you stop by there, then you can go over to the shops at Riverside, and you got the expo over there, and your kids can put out a fire. I mean, there's tons of stuff to do right here in town, and there's only a 15% chance of rain, and it's supposed to be in the 70s, so should be a good day.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilmember Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to get the word out to encourage all of our constituents to take advantage of getting in touch and communicating with your council representatives. There are 2 of us from every ward, and we're not mind readers. we want to hear directly from people with what you're thinking and what you'd like us to be working on so that we can do a good job of representing you. I've been able to help a few of my constituents in the past few weeks, and I appreciate getting letters and emails from folks who do take the time to get in touch. So be a part of government and let us know what you're thinking. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Council President Shaw.
Mayor, I just had two quick things. Regarding the public comment we received on vaccinations, aside from politics or belief systems, I hope you agree that when it comes to the city of Aberdeen, we absolutely need to follow LMI guidance and health protocols. Otherwise, we could find ourselves paying hefty insurance fees or maybe not even be insured if we willfully disregard any state regulations. So hopefully, I know that our Parks Director is on that, and we have a really solid track record, I think, of following the guidance so that we can make sure that we do not have a liability. So I just wanted to share that I'm totally in support of following the state guidelines to protect our city from any potential liability. And the other thing I wanted to point out is that at our next meeting, our city engineer is going to give us an update on the levy and talk to us about next steps.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I would just like to add, because it's my favorite thing, is along with the art walk going on, like Tawny mentioned, and the public safety group meeting over at the Riverside shops, the City of Aberdeen Police Explorers will also be over there, and they'll be accepting applications for anyone 15 to 20, I think, if you want to sign up for that. Great program. I've been in support of it for a long time, so I couldn't resist saying something about it. So it's going to be a fun weekend, lots of stuff to do. So that's it. Anybody else? Okay.
Mayor, I move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to adjourn. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, if there's no opposition, I will adjourn this meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Good night,
Good night.
Have a good night.